Jamie Bell.
Yeah, good morning. We're fortunate to have with us today a strong friend of the cause, Bob Sutherland. Bob is the president of Cherry Republic that he founded in 1989 in the attic of the Glen Lake Yacht Club and from the trunk of his car where he sold T-shirts. A few years later, and many thousands of T-shirts, Bob branched into Cherry products and now makes some 200 Cherry-based products sold locally and worldwide. Previously in his career, Bob was board president of the Michigan Land Use Institute for 5 years and a Leelanau County commissioner. Bob is also a general partner of a new urbanist neighborhood and incorporated seasonal housing for 50 employees. Bob is also a published writer on a variety of topics, from politics to swimming alone. His business model has drawn national media attention from the cover of the Wall Street Journal to the Food Network. Bob is also a proud board member of the Michigan League of Conservation Voters, and Cherry Republic has given over $750,000 to preserve the environment and quality of life in the woods, farms, and communities of the North. And as a prominent Northern Michigan business owner, Bob understands the importance of Michigan's Great Lakes, majestic dunes, beaches, and waters, and the need to protect them. And he's used his platform to support President Biden's American Jobs Plan to build back our economy and protect our water infrastructure while positioning us to tackle climate crisis. The Sutherlands are a large, publicly spirited family, and they have an outsized impact on Leelanau County and the Grand Traverse region. And now, to me, it's more obvious where this strength of commitment was nurtured. March is Women's History Month, and it was Mary Sutherland's favorite, the matriarch of the Sutherland clan, favorite month. Mary was an author, educator, feminist, and champion for gender equality. Mary co-founded the regional chapters of the Women's Business Owners of Leelanau County, the Women's Political Caucus, National Organization of Women, and the Women's Resource Center in Traverse City, who, by coincidence, will be spotlighted in next month's program. So please join me in saying life, liberty, beaches, and pie forever, and please welcome Bob Sutherland.
John, that was the best intro I've ever had, and I've never cried in an intro. Thanks for all those good words. Really hit home, and I'm going to follow up and ask if I could, have those too. I'm going to take some passages and send them on to my siblings. It's a great way to keep the memory of my mom alive.
Absolutely. I'll send it to Sam.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And God, man, I always feel like if I give a talk and, I can make people laugh and share a tear and touch some hearts, and it's already a success today, for me to, get to feel such deep love and warmth with a group of people that I care about tremendously. You're indivisible in the causes and the community of people, here in this meeting, and the rest of the members is need to be a part of. And as I get more time, I hope to be more and more involved with all of you. You're making a difference, and together we are making a difference. I kind of feel like we have the difficult side, us Democrats, and the organizations around it. The GOP, all they have to do is tell everyone that every problem is the Democrats' fault and the problem of government, and we are stuck in that unfortunate, spot of having to defend government and defend, trying to make a difference and improve those problems. I mean, government was invented, as our way to solve problems, how to raise money and solve problems, and how it's gotten so benign And thank God there's people like us that still believe that it is the way to get things done if we get the right people and the right following and support. Uh, it's nice to kind of watch, I'm 60 now and have been here for 50 years to see the tides start to come around in Leelanau County. And, uh, uh, there was a time when nothing, we were not a can-do county at all. And, uh, government was a problem. Uh, and it was, to watch the shrinking of, our county and what we would try to do, and to start making efforts, and then to watch a group of the other side that just said, well, whatever they do, we're just going to have fun opposing it. And it didn't matter, what the cause was. If they saw these people, on the Democrat or on the side of progressiveness, or it didn't even have to be labeled at that time, but if there was a proposed change, there was a group of people ready to stop it. And, I think I see the Wellmans here, and, where we caught it at its, head was farmland preservation when we went, and tried to do a countywide, uh, uh, millage proposal. So it's really fun to be a part of you. That's my little introduction. You guys are in my house right now. I'm in my bedroom. There's a reason. It's this beautiful picture behind me. If the Wojcickas are here, it's Kent Wojcickas. And this is, a picture of Lake Michigan with ice on it. And this is typical March in a normal year, okay? 40, 50 years ago, before, our climate started taking a beating for our behaviors. And, but around March time was when the lake finally, the big lake finally got cold enough, to hold ice. And it was a time in the past when, most of the oxen would get taken over to South Manitou, or people would go back and forth, over the ice. And it was also, March. What's the day of the night? I think it was. Can't remember the exact day. But 2014, 10 years ago, when I had the fortunate time to walk across the ice, and with a group of friends, employees, and it was one of the greatest days of my life. But the irony of it is, after I got back, and we had a lot of publicity over that, and I listened to my phone messages. I was a little late, and this was a message from 4 days ago, and it was from Kent Wojcicka. And Kent was going, Bob, I've got this picture, and it's just been in my house, and every time I look at it, it just seems like it belongs to you. And he goes, you can look at it. It was in the Artists of the Sleep Bear Dunes, booklet, which you made a big donation to make that happen. And he said it was in Art Prize down in Grand Rapids. But I look at it and I want to give it to you. This is the picture. It's ice on Lake Michigan. Whoever draws ice on Lake Michigan, And it's the beauty of Leelanau, and the beauty of generosity, giving to your community, making a little $1,000 donation and doing some of the giving. I look at that as my biggest kind of example of why it's so important to give, because it all comes around. And this picture here gives me the greatest joy, because it, relates to that day of hiking. Brings you to my dad, who tried to hike to the Manitou. So it's all family as well. But it's just this big circle of joy of Leelanau County that we're all a part of. I want to talk a little bit more about my family and how I got the ethics to, make stands on things that were important to me. My grandfather was a you know, a longtime politician and official in Belmont County, Ohio, the poor Ohio coal mining area, hilly, pretty much a corner of Appalachia. And he was the lawyer in town, and he became the county prosecutor. He became a state legislature, but he always had this private law practice. But it was unique in that he never sent an invoice. And it's just known that, Paul V. Waddell would take your cause and he would take whatever you had to help. And so all the coal miners and the poor people in town would go to him. And he was so beloved. He was the only one when the strikers started really striking for better rights in the coal mines that they would let go in and he was the one that negotiated the strikes. When they closed down, the miners would all take over the mine and close down the strike. He was the one that would come in and try to negotiate. So he had 6 kids. He was one of 6 kids. He had 6 kids. My mother was the one that had that torch of his, and she followed him around day after day and, became so much like him. And of course, unfortunately, being a woman at that time, she didn't have the same opportunities that he did to have a political career or the legal career and some of that. She became a teacher, but of course, through her teaching, she did so much, which John had mentioned. But there was something about my mom that I'll just say that, out of the 6 of us kids, so, my grandfather was in the 6, I think. My mother was in 6, and then I was in 6 kids. And it's unique because my dad was also in a family of 6. But I kind of, maybe was the most connected and tight with my mother. As you can see now. But the legacy that I hope to carry on and share with you is, God, it's just so important to stand for something and make a difference, And the art of persuasion, my mother was a master of, and it's my some legacy that I hope to pass on to my kids, the ability to persuade, to pick a cause and persuade. I've fortunate to be able to express myself in persuading people to buy cherries and to support, our farmers, up here. I've been lucky to persuade people. Are those the ones I got?
Where are the other ones?
I put some in your sleeve. The ones I had perforated holes, but you had 2 choices.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you the other ones.
Okay. Hawthorne has a big tennis tournament today. My boy was just coming in looking for a tennis grip. It's kind of exciting right now. We got tennis, we got basketballs, kinds of things going on in our county. And but that ability to persuade and to make a stand has been a legacy that and not be afraid of, even if you're out there alone on something, not to be afraid of making a political stand. I remember when the Leelanau had this issue before us of the Crystal River, the Homestead wanting to develop the Crystal River, and a group of citizens stopped that. And then the Homestead's next choice was to propose a land swap. And now this one had about everybody in agreement that, hey, yeah, let's switch some, better land for the golf course from this, wetlands. And, but I didn't like it. I didn't think it was right. It was a really important viewscape and some key land that, I grew up hiking and being on. And so I opposed it, found some other people, Tim Young and a group of others. And pretty soon, but I was just, one prominent businessman that was when most of the public officials, about everybody was for it. I was worried it was going to affect my business some. I remember being on TV. I didn't realize this would be on TV, but I was in front of 200 or 300 people in the Glen Arbor Town Hall, and I say, "I will fight." And I said this: "I will fight this land swap till hell freezes over, and then I will fight it on the ice." And and that was quoted and in, all over you know, the 9 and 10 news. And but I want to know it didn't affect my customer base. It didn't affect, uh, my life. It just connected me even more.
It's just scripts and holes. Where are the other ones? I checked in the sleeve.
Are those the ones that are perforated?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only ones I have. But there are some other ones around.
Where?
Okay. Dig into coal bricks in your bags. So that I will always make a stand. And I'm just gonna jump across the to another issue is, there's a guy up here that I just had breakfast with, Doug Varell, and that is adamantly opposed for the Leelanau Trail, coming through the little Travers Lake neighborhood. And he's a one-man wrecking crew, all right? But he makes it almost looks like, there's a huge band of, groundswell of people. And recently he's been in the Detroit Free Press, the Ticker just did something, the Leland Enterprise, Glen Arbor Sun, and and it just shows. I just bring it up because it shows what one person could do. All right. And and sometimes we just have to not be afraid to stand alone. And organizations are great, but it's amazing, the difference we can make. And I have let me go through this. I'll tell a little bit more about myself is that, I studied and lived a life with a plan to be to have a political career. It was my dream. And I mean, doggone it, I didn't have a drink till I was 34. I didn't want any bad things on my record to be drunk and to get, have a DUI or stuff like that, and drugs and everything. I tried to live the cleanest life too, in preparation, and became a county commissioner, and thought that was my future. And at the same time, I was starting this business with the most ethical way I could, from the opening minute, that we would start donating, a part of our profits. And John, you had mentioned something, and I think you pulled something from a while back, but I think we're up where we've given over, 3.5, 4 million. We're at a point where we're giving $500,000, $500,000 a year away. More and more of it goes to bigger groups. Michigan League of Conservation Voters. More and more of it goes to political. Like I actually no, I do that separately. From my house, but yeah, more of it goes to getting the right people elected, or I spend more time, and slowly more money is going that way to get the right people elected, but then the amount of work to get them to make stands, you know, it's not just getting them elected. We've got the Democrats are in their House and are in their Senate right here in Michigan, but boy, they were all so new, and they were also kind of fragile, like what to do, and it took a lot of work to give them the you know, confidence to make a couple stands for our environment and for you know, the other housing and the other causes that they've had, because you know, even though we had, you know, the House and the Senate, it's still, the environment it's hard to stand for, you know, progress. And it's hard to make big moves for, you know, better government. But my ethics of, you know, thinking that I was going to get into politics, was a county commissioner, and I'm ready to run my second to run up for re-election. Thought I'd run 2 or 3 times and then go for state legislature and go on. And the best thing that ever happened to me happened. I got pushed off the ballot and I lost. And I was trying to do too many things at once, running this business, trying to do politics and that. And so I said, all right, for the next 10 years, I'm just going to focus on my business. And it's become 34 years. But somehow in that, it's been so gratifying and far more fulfilling than, you know, that 2 years of divisive work as a county commissioner. To be able to, like this year, we'll write checks for 600 employees. You know, we'll give away $500,000, but giving those gifts, it connects me to every organization in this state, it feels like. And to give, it gets me, you know, opportunity to talk to, you know, Governor, you know, Whitmer, to a lunch with Senator Peters, to, you know, Stabenow, to all these people that, you know, I'm able to support. And I never, so I am doing what I dreamed of doing when I was young. I hope one day my boys, they're both teenagers, and you know, that they have an opportunity, that the political environment will be conducive for them to be in politics. And I understand that, you know, during my generation, it just wasn't that healthy, you know, so I did it through my business, you know. I think that I've gone about 20 minutes, and I'm happy to answer some questions. Let me see if I had one other key thing to say, but Sam, jump in there for a second, and, you know.
Okay, Bob, what you've done has been so remarkable that I know it not only does it touch our heart, but it touches our mind with the way you've lived your life. And, you know, just in case you're still considering politics, you'd make an incredible senator for Michigan. Just in case. But what you've done has been really amazing. So folks, put your questions in the chat. Does anybody else want to say anything to Bob right now? Just raise your hand. And I'm not looking at gallery view. Can anybody see anybody? Gwen, go ahead.
I'm trying to unmute. I just want to say, Bob, thank you. Thank you for all of your work and for being this amazing example for all of us in Leelanau. And your cherry stuff is really, really yummy.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks, Gwen, for all you do for this little community here on the lake and through the county too. Yeah.
Bill Dutton has his hand up.
Yeah, Bob, thank you so much for the presentation. We enjoyed it immensely. I had a question about the business, and when you said because you give so much money away, you were able to meet people and talk to people. Sounded like in politics. Is that money that went directly to their campaigns, or was it money that just flows out into the community? I haven't seen the website or evaluated, where you spend.
Yeah, so we do a couple unique things. I spent a weekend with Yvon Chouinard, the owner of Patagonia, when he was doing his 1%, of profits to give away to organizations, and I got to do that. After that week of encouragement or weekend. And then we do something unique too, where we do it. Well, you guys all help me, where we do a refundable tariff for anyone that comes in our store for another 1%, and people have been generous enough that, when they spend $25 in our store, that we do a 25-cent tax that adds up, through all our 6 stores, and that's what helps us. We also do some $1 off on this thing and a roundup. We're trying to do every example of how to raise money in a company so other companies would do this the same, because it really is so easy. It's the best way to raise money is when people are already at a cash register. So businesses should be because their wallets are already out and it's easy to take a little slice. And, to go door knocking for money or to have breakfasts and all this stuff to try to write checks is, a much more difficult way than through a business, that I've found, especially when you put it in your budget at the beginning of the year.
Thanks.
Good.
Yeah.
If I could just follow up on that, where does the money go when you give it away?
Okay, so a lot of our money, like I was on the board of the Groundworks, so we'll give to Groundworks, Climate Action Committee. We really focus on how, we're focusing more and more on housing and climate. The Michigan League Conservation Voters, they're the biggest, group in town. So we give the most money, nearly $100,000 to them now, to a couple of different causes. But their big one is climate, and they were a key in getting our climate package, passed in the state. The amount of hand holding they did with even with the governor to, all of our reps. The Climate Action Network, the Michigan, Environmental Council, they kind of are the umbrella for, a couple other organizations, Great Lakes Business Network. I'm the co-chair of the Great Lakes Business Network. And so we support them in our efforts to stop Line 5. If there's a cause, in the environment that we want to be there, and then on the housing part, much more difficult to find good projects. But, we gave a big surprise grant to Larry and his, Moabi and his new organization. It's not new, but he's got a land trust, a land that is helping, buy the land to put the housing on it, and so we did that. But Housing North, Home Stretch, all those organizations take people to keep to make things happen. It takes people working full time. You guys are volunteers, it's great, but to get things done, we need to pay wages. So a lot of what our giving money to is to the conservancies. They can raise money for land, but they have a harder time raising money for the people that actually do the work, So we'll pay for help, give them unrestricted funds so that they can get, the people in place to get the work done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bob, didn't you also have an idea for how you provided housing for your workers?
Yeah. It's our climate and housing are our biggest challenges, and I'll say it all the time. And for us, we are a big enough company that, we're doing more and more of the bringing people in for the summers to work. And I'm happy with that because that leaves more of our locals, able to work at other places, the small mom and pops. And so, you know, it's a good for everyone to bring in workers, especially when, you know, we're in this cycle where we have so many people coming in and in the summers, and we really don't need these workers in the winters. So, you know, let them go back to college, let them go back to their, you know, wherever their college is, because we hire international college kids too. And but also, you know, some workers drive in on their campers. You know, we buy spots for them at Indigo Bluffs and some of the other campgrounds, and they stay for the summer, and then they go work, you know, down in Texas, you know, for the winter. And these are a retired couple. These are the best people. They're 50, 60-year-olds that are living this free life of, you know, living where they want and working 30 or 40 hours, you know. Yeah. I saw, Linda, you were talking about housing. Yeah. Those, you know, it's expensive. It costs us about $1,000 per employee out of our pocket, you know, to make it all work. It costs a lot of labor, you know, to manage these, you know, kids and get them transported back and forth to work, to help them get, you know, the international ones, to help them get a checking account, you know, and you know, all of their needs met, you know. So it's a big deal, you know, for HR to, you know, manage these homes and manage these projects, but it's really worthwhile. I think our next project is to try to get year-round housing. I have too many young peoples and can continue to want to hire more and more young people that want to live here. They're really struggling to find a home, and we've got a couple projects in hand, and hopefully in the next, you know, 3 to 5 years, we'll have a 10 homes apartments that we rent out to our staff, you know, and, you know, more and more to just the community.
Thank you so much, Bob, for giving up your valuable time with us this morning. And I don't know if you're going to the tennis match right now, but we're going to wish Hawthorne a good match.
Yeah,
So thank you so much. You're welcome to hang out with us for a little bit more, but we'd like to value everybody's time and move on unless anybody else has something vital. Let's everybody give our Leelanau Superman a big round of applause. Thank you so much, Bob.
Yes, thanks. Have a good day.